Thousands of people took to the streets of major Chinese cities to ask banks to unfreeze their deposit accounts, but they were pushed back by police and could lose all their savings. 4 big Chinese banks froze millions of dollars worth of deposits in April, telling customers they were upgrading their internal systems. However, the people no longer trust the institutions and the government, say economists and experts, because the country has a huge $54 trillion financial system, which is more than double the size of assets across all U.S. commercial banks. China is on the verge of a serious debt crisis, and the collapse of the country's real estate market and the ongoing bank runs are just symptoms of a much bigger problem. Civil unrest is spreading across China as angry people demand that 4 major rural banks unfreeze their accounts, which have been frozen for months with no clear reason. Over the weekend, a large group of angry customers gathered in the streets of major Chinese cities to show their anger, but many of them were hurt or taken away by police. 3 months ago, banks froze millions of dollars worth of savings, citing an ongoing operational upgrade. However, the banks haven't said anything about it since, and depositors say local media outlets estimate that the total amount of frozen deposits across all the banks could be worth up to $1.5 billion. For its part, the Chinese government said it is conducting a thorough investigation into the bank's balance sheets. In a series of photos and videos posted on social media, depositors were seen waving banners and throwing plastic bottles and getting close to security guards, who then roughly pulled away some of the protesters. A 45-year-old entrepreneur from Wenzhou said he hasn't been able to access his family's life savings of $6 million since the beginning of the year. Farmers with low incomes who have put almost all of their life savings in banks because they see banks as the safest place backed by sovereign creditworthiness have been hit the hardest by the freeze. If the situation isn't handled correctly, it could lead to social unease and threats to safety. An official said that the growing social unrest caused by the incident could be a big problem for the Chinese government. According to Reuters, local authorities stopped the peaceful protest by announcing from a vehicle with a megaphone that the gathering was illegal and that the protesters would be arrested and fined if they did not leave. Some officials were out of their uniforms and wearing white t-shirts to blend in with the crowd. They started breaking up the protest from within. A woman who only gave her last name, Chang, out of fear of retaliation, said, "We came today because we wanted our savings back. I have elderly parents and children at home, and not being able to withdraw savings has made my life very hard." Zhang said she saw women being dragged down the stairs at the bank entrance. She was hurt, and when she asked the officer why he hit her, he said, "What's wrong with hitting you?" A man from Beijing named Yang said that most people in the crowd have heard official stories before and don't believe them. He said he was hit by 2 security officers, one of whom had fallen down the stairs and fought in the chaos that Yang had hit him. Run Global Times, the protesters were eventually forced to get on government buses that took them to different places where they had to sign a letter saying they wouldn't gather again. About a month ago, thousands of people from all over the country planned to gather in Jiangsu to try to withdraw their money. But their health codes, which determine if they're allowed to travel, suddenly switched to a no-travel status. All of this started with the collapse of China's real estate market, and now the big dominoes keep falling in the financial sector of the world's second-largest economy. This is very scary because the United States, which has the world's largest economy, is following the same path. The housing market has started to break. We also have the most debt in the history of the world. If things in the U.S. start to go the way they are going in China, we could soon be the ones with a cash shortage and widespread bank runs. At the same time, the whole world could be in danger of another financial crisis as the world's 2 largest economies collide. Needless to say, we've been told over and over that taking on more and more debt was a slippery slope. The results are clear. A reckoning has begun, and if I were you, I'd start looking for ways to get my assets out of the system while it's still possible.